welcome back to Monster Mates, you degenerates.
Yes, welcome to the 19th episode of Season 3 of Monster Mates. Spencer, please choose a number between 1 and 98.
73.
73 is a number. Wow, you haven't hit the 70s at all.
I
All
know,
right.
I did notice that, so I was like, oh, I should hit some 70s.
73, Pixie Girls.
Oh, fuck.
All right, we're getting into those.
Oh.
We're getting into those classics.
I love Pixie Girls.
All right.
No.
So before we get into this, what would you rate a Pixie Girl?
Like a 9. Like a 9.
Okay. A 9. I'd rate them in a similar way. An 8. I would say an 8. All right. All right, you want to read this one?
Can you do this one? My throat's like acting up a little bit.
Oh, you're good. All right. While they are similar in appearance to fairies, which also belong to the fairy type, unlike fairies, which were originally not monsters until being corrupted by demonic energy, their nature is close to that of the succubi, and they're genuine monsters belonging to the imp family. It is said the souls of dead children become pixies, and perhaps for that reason they are very fond of mischief.
The souls of what?
The souls of dead children. That is accurate even in the original lore for pixies. They lead humans who enter the forest astray and enjoy assaulting and violating them in groups. Although their bodies are tiny and they have figures of very young girls, their nature is succubus-like, and they are extremely lustful. They will tempt men with lewd smiles, pleasure men with their entire bodies, and squeeze out their semen. Since they have a similar appearance to fairies, which are friendly towards humans, they sometimes pretend to be fairies to throw their victims off guard and lure them deep into the forest, only to suddenly attack, so one must take heed. Normally, their bodies are tiny like fairies, but by obtaining mana and storing up demonic energy, they can use magic to freely alter the size of their own body as well as a man's. They may change themselves to the size of a little human girl and have sex with a man, or conversely, they may shrink a man who strikes their fancy and take him away to the fairy kingdoms. The effects of their spell of theirs will only last a day at most, but they don't use this magic simply as a prank. When they use this spell on a man, they're most definitely using it so they can violate the man directly afterwards. So it's probably impossible to flee and wait for the effect to expire.
Probably impossible.
Probably impossible. Originally, being monsters and not part of the fairy family, they weren't denizens of the fairy kingdoms, but recently many pixies have moved into the kingdoms, teaching fairies that have yet to be monsterized about sex and pleasure to convert them into monsters, using their magic to alter the size of the bodies of other fairies, and the men they brought with them to invigorate sex. We can say that they are the major cause of the monsterization of fairies and the conversion of fairy kingdoms into demon realms. Translators note in the profile, the word Yosi is used only once compared to the other word used for fairies in the rest of the profile. It appears to be used here to refer to fairies and fairy-type monsters in general, rather than more specifically the actual fairy race. Okay. So.
Okay, we're going to ignore one part of this entire thing.
Uh-huh.
The souls of children.
Okay.
We're ignoring it.
All right.
I refuse.
Okay.
Because I've read multiple like dojins with pixies, and they have all been
the souls of dead travelers.
Yeah, they've never specifically
they've never specified an age.
They've never specified an age, a child, or a traveler, or anything. They just go, it was someone who got lost in the forest, and they became a pixie.
Whereas pixies in the original folklore is actually referred to as the souls of children, but
they didn't think about in folklore, people wanting to fuck them.
Yeah, that's fair. This is extremely fair. You are correct in this assessment.
How whimsical! We shall make the children getting lost. What are you doing? Don't fuck the pixies!
Oh, goodness. All right, so obviously the positives in here, very small, presumably very durable down there.
I've seen
girls.
Okay, there are two kinds of pixies I've always seen in doujins and hentais. One is where they are penetrable all the way through.
Yes.
It's like straight from their ass or pussy straight to their mouth.
Oh, all the way through type?
All the way through.
Okay.
Like the and the thing was like, oh, they were made for this. And it's like, okay, sure. And then the other one is their bodies are just incredibly durable because they used to be a person, so they have the durability of a person, but the stature and height of a pixie.
Yes. Okay.
So I like both. Personally,
that is fair. What's it? As a personal preference, I prefer the more durable to all the way through. I don't know. All the way through can be hot at times, but it's not too much for me. Oddly enough. What's it? What's another thing?
I like that there's multiple, and it's not one of those like. But we talked about last episode, the Batgirls, right? With them swarming you and that's being a nightmare. Mm-hmm. Pixie swarming you is probably pretty nice.
Yeah, because they'll probably just how smooth they are alone or just how nice they feel alone would be almost like getting a massage from them, I would imagine.
Absolutely. It'd be so nice. Mm-hmm. They are little pranksters, though.
Yeah, as to be expected.
But I like that. I always like pixie designs. I think they're like the wood elf mixed with like a mystical bug.
Oh yeah.
It's super cute. Mm-hmm. I like the wings because the pixie wings have always been like bug-like. They have the webbing and everything on the inside. Mm-hmm.
It's like. Depending on which media you consume for, like, pixies, sometimes it'll be strictly, like, butterfly wing designs. Other times, it'll just be all types of bug wing designs.
Yeah. I can think of two pixies in my head from fiction that people are like, God, I want to fuck that pixie.
One of them I know already, but go ahead. Or actually, no.
I have two. Shin Megami Tensei, the pixie.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And Tinkerbell from Peter Pan.
Although Tinkerbell would technically be classified as a fairy.
It's kind of the same thing, right?
I mean, here's the thing. As far as I'm aware, at least, fairies and pixies are kind of used synonymously in the Peter Pan lore, as far as I'm aware. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't tell you that for certain.
In my head, they're similar. Yeah. And like, so enough to where I'm like, I'm gonna class Tinkerbell as a pixie because she looks just like it.
And considering how mischievous she can be at times.
Exactly. Like, Tinkerbell's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
She's got that tomboy haircut. Got that super cute, like, mischievous look to her. Oh, man. Peter chose Wendy and he was an asshole. Absolutely. You kidding me? Tinkerbell all day.
Oh, my goodness. Some of the bad things. I mean, according to the original folklore, once you go to Fairyland, there's no getting out.
Probably.
I'm talking about the original folklore here.
Where the fuck is Fairyland?
It's in a pocket dimension.
Oh!
Again, trying to translate the original folklore in my head here for layman's terms.
So they shrink you down.
They can shrink you.
They can shrink you down, but they shrink you down to bring you to their pixie land.
Yes. And then you're stuck there forever.
Okay, you're stuck. Okay, no,
but that's only for the original folklore. In this, I assume you can get out.
Maybe. It's
presumably.
Probably.
Yeah.
But say you can't get out. Say you are incapable of leaving because they have to shrink you down first. So I'm guessing the hole or pocket to escape from is extremely small and you won't fit.
Yeah, probably some Alice in Wonderland type nonsense.
That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, that you have to be super small, like, what do you eat? Like, if you're stuck there forever, what are you eating?
What's it? I know nectar and honey is like for drinks for sure. For food, I think it's like nuts and berries.
Okay, because I was thinking like just straight up like
and fruit as well. Actually, now that I think about it too.
Because I was thinking like, oh no, I'm tired, I'm losing energy, and then my brain goes to like Legend of Zelda.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, just eat them. Just eat the Pixie.
No, you would be getting fruits, nuts, berries. You would be living off the land, as it were, but no meat provided, except for pussy.
What's your drink? Pussy.
That's a nectar in its own right, but that's...
You have like at least 5 Pixies to fill up a cup.
Yeah.
At least 5.
Yeah.
He's grinning like extremely hard. He's like, oh yeah.
Goodness. All right.
I like how the variation of colors and looks of them.
Oh yeah.
Like you have like so many different kinds too. Like this is one of the races where you go, oh, there's like the red ones, blue ones, green ones, pink ones, and they have all the different designs and wing shapes, and like these have horns, and I'm sure some don't.
Yeah, I'm sure, and some probably even have some different horn styles as well. Like the one on the Monster Encyclopedia or Monster Girl Encyclopedia has like almost impish horns, but I'm sure there might be like ram horns, gazelle horns, stuff like that.
Like these things are basically Ona holes.
I mean,
they're walking Ona holes.
Flying even.
Yeah, exactly. So like you go amongst your day, you stick one on, and then you keep going on your day. It's just on there forever for the rest of the day.
Oh goodness. Trying to think. Other negatives, if you're not into being like transformed at all into like a smaller version of you, or if you're not into them growing into a, I guess, as bigger is, I guess, the best way to do it. Big would not be a great way to describe it because they're still very small in comparison, but still bigger, then that might be an issue if you're not into that. Any sort of like size transformation, if you're not into that, then this would not be for you in the slightest.
Yeah. I mean, I think size transformation is pretty fun.
Yeah, it brings in a lot of interesting dynamics.
I think it's a lot of fun. So like shrink you down, and it's like, am I your size or am I smaller than you, or how's this going?
I imagine. Okay, so if they shrink you down, I imagine you're probably like 3 feet tall. I would say. So like, I would say you're about half of your original size.
I was thinking they shrink you down to like their size.
Maybe?
Because I think the whole point of them is kidnapping you is if you have to be like their size to be like, haha, I grab you.
True, but again, if there's a swarm with them, then even if you are like half your size, it wouldn't be too difficult.
Just imagine a cloud of pixies just underneath, just like a cloud, just moving you. They're all just yelling, Dick, 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 Dick.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I think we can rate this one finally.
Yeah. I think overall we can give our final ratings for this. What are you thinking?
I have to give this a 9.
Okay.
Because of the possibility of like a lot of things that I said that I liked in Mike. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of it. I like it. I think it's cute. I think they're adorable, and I think it's one of those. You can either take it super nice and wholesome and gentle, or you can be the biggest fucking degenerate with this thing ever and literally use them all as just Ona holes and like.
As well as a vast amount of other debaucherous things that we're not going to go into right now.
You could literally use them as like, oh man, I need something to gnaw on for a bit. And you just pop one in and then spit it out and be like, all right, time to use it because they go in a hole.
Oh my goodness sakes. Again, there is a lot of other debaucherous, kinky things you can do with them.
God.
But we're not
Where are you putting them, Trevor?
But we're not going to go into that this episode. For my final rating, for my final rating, I almost want to give them a 10. I almost do. But I feel like if they had more variety with magic, then this would absolutely be a 10. But as it stands with them seemingly only able to open like a thing to the fairy kingdoms and them either getting themselves bigger or turning you smaller, I mean that there's not exactly much variety in terms of magic there. So I'll stick with my 8. I'll stick with my 8.
Okay. And
Anything else you wanted to comment on?
kind of.
Okay, what? Let's hear it.
I think the thing is that you have to have them. If you say you had them instead, like they were yours, and you brought them home.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we were talking, I think we talked a lot about, oh, well, when we see them, and they have you, and you're stuck with them
in the wild.
the wild. But say, because I think most people, if they don't pick just one, they're gonna pick multiple, and you can't live in a village or in a place with like a pixie being like, yep, it's my wife, and they just go, oh, really? We know what you like.
Oh, man.
So I imagine them just being like a housewife.
Okay, yeah. I see.
Like that kind of like, welcome home.
Very trad wife.
Yeah, very traditional wife, yeah.
Okay.
Trad wife.
It's the short term for it. All right. But yeah, what would you rate a pixie girl, and would you follow them into the fairy kingdom, possibly never to return?
Please comment it down. Please tell us in the comments down below, would you fuck a pixie girl, and why? And why were you turned on by Tinkerbell? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free, and
and if you want to get updates on the show, feel free to follow us over on Twitter. And be sure to check out the amazing artists who did the art for this episode.
Thank you so much for listening, you degenerates, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.